So, As-salamu alaykum. I am Hana Rasheed. I am currently working as Senior Engineering Program Manager at Adobe. The team that I work in is infrastructure, cloud, and virtualization environment. My career started with my engineering degree in electronics and telecommunication. I came as a graduate student in US. I've been in US for almost 15 years now. I'm originally from India. However, I have only lived in India for 10 years, and prior to that, I was in different countries. Coming to my career path, I did my graduate study in network management in computer engineering department. And after graduating, just like anyone else, I was looking for software engineering role, quality assurance role, because I did not know my career path. And I, over the years, had been good in managerial skills. A lot of time, my friends and professors had come up and talked to me about doing an MBA instead of an MS. And I was like, no, I am into engineering and I want to do that. And a lot of times we have no clue where our personality is, what do we want. We just see whatever other people we see around us, and or also lack of having ideals or having mentors, especially women in tech. That's one thing I have noticed, that we struggle in finding those people. So when I graduated, I had been trying to look for internships. That was a recession time. It was like 2008 to 2010. And a lot of my friends were like not looking for internship, or if they are looking, they couldn't find one. What I made sure was I go to list of companies in the state that I was in, because being an international student, I was looking for any and every internship. But obviously, if you are local, it's always helpful. But then finding internship also helps in a lot of new things that I would talk about. But I would say that after learning and after applying more and just quickly like thinking about, okay, not giving a second thought of whether it's a big company or not, I ended up in New Balance shoe company with $10 an hour internship. Even though it was for like $10 an hour internship, it did have a bigger impact on my resume and even my profile, even today. Like if I talk about, oh, it's a New Balance shoe company, how I learned about it, even though it was $10 an hour, money did not matter at that time, just because experience matters as well. I know it was tough time. Like I used to live in room in a house kind of setting and stuff. You have to struggle with those things. If you do not, then it's even great for you. But then after graduating, I've always used to go and make sure I go to career phase, and I used to go to each and every one, whether it's local or in different place. Now it's a great environment to be in, a virtual environment too. So I got an offer from a company which is $20 an hour. And I was like, okay, let me just keep it. I should not just reject it and still keep looking. So I had an offer, but I was still looking, but it actually helped me in boosting my confidence. I got into Fidelity, and alhamdulillah, I was like very grateful. Something happened. Being an immigrant, I did not have the employment card on time of the start date. Fidelity rescinded my offer. And I was like, July 4th, I'm like sitting down, don't have an offer from the company that I wanted to be in. It was a good 65K package for that time, and it was good average start salary. But no, all the dreams were shattered at the moment. And I was like, okay, let me keep trying, do this, do that. But I ended up working in the $20 an hour. So my career started as a technical analyst, not as an engineer, because that's where these mishaps did come up, because life happens and it does not work out the way you want. Originally, from my background, I have family who is in medicine. I do not have any guidance around engineer or managerial role. That's where my passion of giving back to community and finding my network, creating network and helping others create their network also come up. Now, after I got this, I was super depressed that, oh, I don't know if I want to work here. I don't know if I'm overqualified for these kind of job. I still kept looking. What I used to do, I used to go to each and every company's career page, make sure I register there, make sure I have uploaded resume. If not uploaded resume, at least create a profile over there with LinkedIn profile. So every company has portals for job seekers. I did not apply to this job But NetApp was one of the companies that I really wanted to get into. I've created the profile, but they usually used to give chances to people with 4-year experience. What I did not know, after undergrad degree, you can also apply for jobs with 2 years experience or more, not just entry level. And if we keep saying that entry level, a lot of time we are underpaid or we are undervalued too. And I got a call from a company which job required 4 years of experience. I never applied to that. I never looked up for that role. And I was working as an engineer in the marketing and product management team. And I got a chance to work there. That's where my career kicked up. But I was working as an engineer, network engineer, because that's what my education was. And I worked with product managers, marketing people, engineers, sales. And my role was to work in the lab and also train people, sales with all technical information. I got to travel. I got to present in front of 200 people all across the world in conference. It was a great place where I started in Massachusetts and then moved to San Francisco Bay Area. But life did happen. I went through layoff and I still started looking up of what to do next. And I wanted to move towards product management. A lot of time people say, do this, do that, do certification, it will help. A lot of times, where you are, which company you are in, which team you are in, try to shadow people whose work interests you. And that's how I did. I started shadowing my product manager director, who I reported to, and I used to ask if there's any work I can help you out. And he used to give me all product management work. And so I did not have a title, but I had worked as a product manager. So when I got laid off, I was asked to take certification, do this, do that. So I started with Scrum Master certification. When I picked up that certification, it was intentional because a lot of time the trajectory towards from engineer to other roles is like either you go towards engineering side and also senior to staff or engineering manager side, or if you go towards managerial side, you can also go as an individual contributor like solution architect or an architect like software engineering architect. But there are other directions, which is becoming an analyst, becoming a project manager or a program manager or a product manager. There are different ones we can pursue, but based on your personality. Like I realized over time that I'm more of a people person. I like to help others inside in my personal life as well as in my professional life. So that's how I thought, okay, maybe product management is my thing. I used to be scared of that role, and somehow I landed up in project manager role. But that did not come right away. That did not come immediately to me. I did Scrum Master certification, and then I did product management, pragmatic marketing certification. I still did not land in the product manager role. But since I was laid off, I was also trying to learn how to carve my story, how to manage and tell my experiences. So over the time, I learned how to make your elevator pitch. I am still an introvert person, but over the time, I learned how to create an elevator pitch, how to push myself, go to events, go to communities, meetups, and I'm going to talk about that as well. But I want to go in these information just so that I can share my journey, how I went through the roller coaster ride, because in my personal life, I'm also primary caregiver for my husband. And that affected my mindset for focusing in a job. But I did not have the bandwidth to just leave the job and stay at home. And I know a lot of people are able to do that, but being medical bills and finances, I had to maintain those things as well. And this comes with responsibility part of being adulthood. And when these things come up, I made sure not just the managerial side, but I also learned new things. So I started learning Tableau, and Tableau helped me in analytics side. That's the time, 2013 to 15 was the time when analytics had just started. And I would not say just started, but it was in the boom of people were asking about it for anyone and everyone. And I learned that and started to build some project around it while I was being laid off. And I got into a company which had similar platform as Tableau, and that was a gaming analytics company. based in UK, but they had some center in San Francisco, and I got a chance to work there. And alhamdulillah, I even got a chance to visit my family when they had the training, because it's a UK-based company. Now, during that time, I learned how different a culture in a different country is compared to that in US, and how the career transition goes. And every time working in startup is amazing. You get to wear multiple hats. That's how I learned in Massachusetts. It was a small startup shop in a bigger company. And that's what helped me to get a chance to go to San Francisco Bay Area. But when I went to a startup, there are pros and cons. You learn a lot of things, but that startup shut down. Within 6 months of my time over there, it shut down, and I was, oh my God, I am back into the layoff again. And how am I going to go next? I still kept continuing. But one thing different that I did at that time was I started going to in-person networking events, and especially women-only networking events. And you'll be surprised, it's not just within our community. It's all over every community that women have a hard time connecting or speaking up for themselves. I went to women in tech events. I went to girl geek events. I went to expat women events. So these are expats are those who are coming from different countries and restarting their life in a new country. And I started volunteering. That's one thing because obviously I was one laid off. I didn't have any paycheck coming, and these all sessions were paid sessions to go in. And when I started volunteering, I got those tickets for free. That was the motivation, but that also helped me create more network with people. Okay, I was into photography. I really loved taking pictures. So I volunteered to take pictures in those those events. And that's how I built network. I built network with so many people who I'm still connected with, and they are in different country right now or different state. And it is not just about me, because there were times I had gone to networking events, I have not spoken to a single person, and I had come back. It's only the listening that I had done. So I used to go to events where they used to have small groups, and they will have group session to everyone gets a chance to introduce themselves, work on their elevator pitch. And slowly by second event, I started with talking to one person. I made small steps, one step at a time. And then another event, I started talk to 3 person, and then 5 people. And then another time, you start growing up. And then after the event, I made sure that I connect with them either on LinkedIn. And if I go on Career Fair, I take their visitor card all the time or their email address. This helped in growing my network, but I still did not have the job. So I still continued with what next could I do? And I found out that in universities, even if you are not enrolled in a full 2-year program or 4-year program, you can still go and take courses. And pandemic is a blessing that these universities can now do virtual courses. Like I took a course from Stanford University for project management. And I was like, if nothing's working out, neither the analyst part, neither the product management part, I want to start somewhere. Stanford initially had project management certificate program, but they didn't have when I was doing it. So I just did one hands-on project management course. And what I made sure that it was 3 months course. A lot of times in-person course, if you do not want grades, they don't charge you. So there are a lot of people who were just sitting for free, and they are getting the same education that other people are. And if you pay, you get the certificate and stuff. But what I made sure was I updated my LinkedIn right away. What I learned from networking events that made sure your LinkedIn is up to date with what all things you are doing. And I made sure that my course was there on LinkedIn. So I started in January, but by the time in March, in 3 months, when I was completing the course, I had a job in hand, just because that tag helped other people in understanding that, oh, this girl is doing something. Over the time when I got laid off, and I got laid off 2 times for more than a year, I was out of work. That time, a lot of people used to think that she must be doing nothing. So I made sure wherever I'm going, either it's a volunteer event, either it's something I'm attending, I would take a picture, post it on LinkedIn, post it on Facebook. Because that time, even I was not active on Instagram, but I was not even signed up on Instagram at that time. But then Facebook, I used to update that. So at least friends and my own network would also know. And on LinkedIn, my professional network would come to know. That's when people caught attention that, oh, she's doing something. Because a lot of time, There is also a stigma that being a Muslim, oh, she got married, and then after being married, oh, they don't usually work, they're very conservative. I even dealt with those kind of issues, and those stigma came not just from people I don't know, but it came from mainly people I knew very closely. But I had been working since I was like 20 years old, because I used to do teaching assistantship. I used to do something or the other, which people did not know. I started talking about that. This is what we have to talk if you are coming out of break, that, hey, I did this kind of project, I did that kind of project. In my university time, it was this. And recently I started doing something. We have to market ourselves in and out of professional life. It's not, oh, when I have a job, that's when I'm going to talk about it. No, you have to talk about even at your home. Everything starts from your home. So I had been told that you have to have certification to go towards program manager role. I would say it's more about how you showcase your skills. I know we have program manager in our attendees too, and who have certifications as well. And I do respect that, because that's where I wanted to go to. But I was given like an ultimatum kind of thing in the job that I started working on, that, oh, if you have a PMP certification, that's when you can go. And what I realized, even product managers, engineers can become product manager as well. But when I was looking for mentors and people who I wanted to connect with, I was told only people with MBA can be a product manager, which is not right at all. People who are in engineering field, who know how to work around with products, they can become product manager too. You just do not need a degree. You need a passion and also connection and also experience on some projects you do on your own, and how you showcase your skills. That's how I turned from an analyst. This one. That's how I turned from an analyst to a project manager and to a program manager. And while doing on program management, what I made sure is I showcased my profile, understand the job descriptions of jobs that were out there, and understand what they are looking for. Make sure those skills are there in my LinkedIn profile, in my resume. And I also understood that over time, for showcasing your profile as a program manager or a project manager or an analyst, quantifying your success is the most important thing to show the impact of the work that you are doing. When I say quantifying, it means how many projects you work with, how many stakeholders you work with, how many customers were impacted by your work. And even if you are a software engineer or you are in the finance side, it can help everyone to quantify. And I know, for example, Ali Gori is a program manager in a software field. Kawal is in from the finance side. So Gabrielle, if Maham, Mary, Aftab, Amina, I'm seeing you for the first time in this session. You may have attended other sessions, I'm sure, but feel free to use the chat to share your LinkedIn profile. If you have not signed up for Slack channel for Muslim professionals, Slack and WhatsApp community, they are total of 2,500 plus people. And there were few attendees who were there but had to drop off. So I'm just sharing theirs as well. Kamal and Fatima were there. So I'm just sharing their LinkedIn profile too. But please use the chat, share your LinkedIn profile, connect with all the attendees. That's the most important thing for any and every networking event that you go to. Please use the chat. And if you have any question, this is not a talk of one-way communication. I'm going to take questions in the end too, but please feel free to put your questions in the chat. So I want to share that showcasing your profile, showcasing your transitional skills is important. Even in the data analyst side, even on other prospects or other professional fields, because that shows the impact of your work. You can also talk about the dollar amount of the projects that you work with. And if you are starting up, create a website. That's a project that, and everyone can also learn towards making a portfolio. When you create a portfolio, that means that you are not just creating a portfolio, you're actually creating a profile of all of your projects. That's why if you are in software engineering, GitHub is good. If you are into project management, program management, then your portfolio is good. LinkedIn is the best place to showcase. Keep sharing all those things. So how my career transition and on Adobe side, first, it was aligned with the network management skills that I have learned and acquired over time. I had managed those projects, but I made sure I showcased that, but not just on the hard, because I belong to a hardware as well as software engineering background. So I made sure that I would do hardware as well as software and showcase that a project manager or a program manager can manage any project or program that are given their way, because managing people, managing schedule, and communication are key things for these kind of roles. And when it comes to technical detail, there are experts who can help in helping the manager person or whoever the scrum master is, even the scrum master, to help them understand, hey, what can you do? So that's how I landed in Adobe. But if you get a contract job, do not hesitate to take that as well. A lot of time we don't need, everyone needs insurance, everyone needs benefits. That's a key thing that we must look for. Equity is another thing. Equity means shares and stocks and bonuses and all those things. And personally, I started my career as a full-time employee and I never worked on contracts. So I was very hesitant while working for contract roles. But what I learned over time is get your foot in the door. That is more important. Whether it's a part-time job, internship, a junior role, or a contract role, get your foot in the door and then make your path inside the company. And I worked with Tech System, got a contract role for 6 months. I was about to get a full-time job in Adobe within 6 months, and I did not get that full-time job. And over the time, I had learned that even salary negotiation was a lot of time people with breaks are always given less pay. Women are given less pay. If you don't speak up, whether you are a man or woman, you are given less pay. And people with brown skin are always given less pay. Those are a lot of things that are there. If you are a US citizen and if you had done your undergrad here, you must fight and ask for higher pay, because that's what you are entitled for. Because a lot of time who are international and who have done their undergraduate degree outside US, they are always paid less than those who have studied in US. So I, over the time, learned that why am I not getting paid that much? Why am the person next to me is getting paid more than I am? Why are they getting bonus and I'm doing the hard work? So when Adobe did not give me a full-time job in 6 months, I negotiated my compensation with the contract company. A lot of time people even hesitate to do that. And even I was hesitant, but I was like, inflation is high, this is high, I need benefits, I need that, I need those. Because A, I knew that company wanted me. B, I knew that the expertise that always try to understand how are you different than the team that already is there. So you can know what's your selling factor. That is the important thing. Oh, you bring diversity, yes, but what all knowledge are you bringing in? That's where you need to make sure that you are being valued in the team. And being a project manager, analyst, or even any employee, the best thing is to have one-on-one relationship with team members, managers, cross-functional teams. Whenever you join any job, make sure you connect with each and every one, whether it's in person or it's in a virtual environment. Just send an email. Hi, I'm new to the team. Would love to connect. Do you have 15 minutes to chat? Just want to make an introduction. That's how you usually connect. And it's better to connect that way. Starting first 3 to 6 months are important. That you 3 months, you do the introduction. But after 6 months, you make sure you do another reintroduction and make sure you connect with them. Just drop in to say hi. A lot of people appreciate that. Not just talk in terms of work, because growing up, our brains are wired that, if you work, you are being valued. If you don't, then it's not. But I think hard work and burning yourself out is glamorized in our culture, that this is how you earn. Work-life balance and is important, as well as just connecting people with personally is important compared to just talking about work. So outside work, that's me professionally, and outside work, I love to give back to community. In past 5-7 years, I have helped a lot of people out. In 2020, I helped more than 100 people by career coaching, LinkedIn profile enhancement, salary negotiation, interview tips. But in 2020, I also started my podcast, HireTalk, and I have Instagram live series on HireTalk Instagram page. more than 22 guests have come up and shared their career journey, because I struggled on what kind of job would I look for, because I was an engineer in a marketing and product management team. So there is product marketing manager role. They are not manager, they're just individual contributor, but that same role is technical marketing engineer in different company. That same role is growth analyst in different company. And if you don't search those jobs, you won't find that. And that's how I made sure that this is what I would like to share with the community and everyone out there, that HireTalk is the page where I did those things. I brought people from different career paths. And I encourage you guys to go and listen those talks. I am pretty sure they are there in my Instagram page. But over the time, I would like to do more and more these outreach. And that's how in 2021, I helped a lot of people with salary negotiation when I was not even marketing, and these are all free facilities that I've been doing. So it's not a paid one. And I help people with salary negotiation, and the total raised amount was $1.49 million. And that data is so important because that is just the raise amount. And it included people who were just recent graduates, 1 to 2, 3 years old in their experience, 6, 7 years in their experience, or manager in their experience. That was something that motivated me to create a platform, which I created when I moved to Dallas-Fort Worth area from San Francisco Bay Area, created a WhatsApp group, and overnight it built to 300 to 500 people and got into waitlist. And hence the Muslim professional platform started, where I collaborated with Zuhaibra about creating a platform for all Muslim professionals. And right now we have more than 2,500 people in Slack and WhatsApp together. And last year, in a span of 4 months, we did more than 50 sessions. And that included AMA session like this. They are also included panel discussions, virtual networking, LinkedIn profile enhancement sessions, salary negotiation, and I had even doing one-on-one salary negotiation session with anyone who had reached out from Muslim professional platform. So that's what I am. In a nutshell, I do have some tips that I would like to share, but I would also encourage you guys to use the chat to share your LinkedIn profile, connect with each other, share your questions in chat, or unmute yourself and just ask any question. I would like to encourage whoever wants to go to project management or program management side. Certifications are important. They are valued. If you do not have experience, then certifications help. If you have experience, like I do, over the time, I understood that people need PMP to go towards program manager role. I got in there without the certification because I showcased my profile. And that's what you can do. So showcasing your profile that you have been managing projects, multiple projects, to go towards a program manager. So Scrum Master certification from Scrum Alliance is good. PMP is good. And also a lot of time people do product owner certification from Scrum Alliance as well. That's a good certification. What I would say, having a mentor is always helpful. A mentor is a person who is in the same role that you want to go in, or they are in like head of those kind of role, whether it's project management, program management. Connect with those people who are having the authority to hire you, and going to meetups, going to communities, going to in-person or virtual events where you can practice your elevator pitch. Every time your elevator pitch would be different. You will be surprised. It's never same like you write down on paper. And how you prepare your elevator pitch is put up 5 to 10 points, quantifying them. And also, if you work cross-functionally, how many different teams have you worked with? If you have worked with the people with different geographic locations, how many of those geographic locations have you worked with? What kind of projects have you worked on? Whether it is business analyst role or project manager, program manager role, learning Tableau or something with analytics is always great skills to acquire. Power BI is another one. And these days, Google and advanced Google Analytics course or certification is also there. And I think it is for free too. That's something I encourage everyone to do. Google has also come up with a project management certificate. I encourage everyone to do that. or look up in any university near your location, or Stanford is one I would recommend. You can do it online as well. Why am I saying that? Is because it adds the tag. No matter what you do, it adds the tag. My brother who's sitting in UK, he also did that same thing. If you put it on LinkedIn, people start approaching you. That's one thing that happens. And I would say communication is the best piece to share your profile with people around you, your friends, your husband's friends, your friends of friends, your relatives, your neighbors, or even somebody who's like cutting your grass. So you can help others, and that can help you as well. I would like to leave you guys with few points, but I would want to open the floor for Q&A. Please feel free to unmute yourself and ask any question. And it can be anything and everything outside, because I did mention that I'm also a primary caregiver for my husband. And that was one of the things that I resonate with a lot of young mothers as well as females who are managing their kids, and even new parents, both male and female. It's part of work-life balance that we go through. So please feel free to unmute yourself, ask any question you may have.
My name is Amna. I'm actually a high school maths teacher, and I'm trying to transition into EdTech. I am in the process of updating my resume and everything into the ATS format. And I was wondering, number one, what is a good ATS format? Is it in a Google Doc, a Word doc, or a PDF? What is preferred?
I am not a recruiter, but I can definitely give you an advice on that. That a lot of time companies look for Word doc, but PDF format is the one that helps in keeping your formatting intact, whether it's ATS environment or not. So PDF it's better to have both versions, Word doc as well as PDF. And with PDF, you can share your resume without any changes in the formatting. And you can also use jobscan.co to match your resume with the job description and see what keywords can help you in enhancing your resume. I'm not asking you to like change or everything together, but update in a way that it also has skills inside that. I hope that answers your question.
Yes, it does. And the website definitely helps. And again, then I guess the next question is, when I am applying for a job online, so should I attach my PDF and Word document?
No, PDF only.
Okay. And then is a cover letter necessary?
I personally think a cover letter is not necessary, to be honest. I have not used cover letter since 2010. And it's not necessary, but a lot of time companies have questionnaire about telling their story, but it's always good to update your LinkedIn. Resume is the last thing in job application process. The first thing is LinkedIn and also your network. If you are transitioning from education to EdTech company, it's always good to build network around people in EdTech. Look up in LinkedIn, look up in Muslim Professional networking sheet. If you have not signed up, I had it here. I can share the Muslim Professionals page where you can sign up for Slack as well as WhatsApp. And when you are on Slack, then you can get member list, and there are members LinkedIn profile also given. It's not necessary that they are in EdTech, but it can be that they are in companies where EdTech people can be very helpful. For example, Adobe, where I am in, I've seen so many people transitioning from education to EdTech in Adobe. And every company needs those people. And the titles or jobs that EdTech teachers can do is, one is training, one is like a company university, like Adobe has university, LinkedIn has university. I used to work at NetApp. NetApp had NetApp University. They used to create courses or certifications, and where they need somebody who has the skills of teaching others. Customer success is that one kind of role that can be done as that. In training, there are this whole team. You can see different titles too. That's how you can connect. But make sure if you are applying, try to get referral first and then apply, because there's so many people who are transitioning. And plus in this market, when a lot of talented people are also laid off, a lot of experienced people are laid off, I'm not saying that you are not talented, but there are people with experience who are already in ed tech and they got laid off, and you would be competing with them if you are breaking into tech. So try to go with reference, because if applications are there for one job, there are like 400 or 1,000 applications. How would you stand out? A reference help in getting your resume reviewed by a recruiter. What happens next is all on you or all on the company's structure, whether they are hiring internally or they are doing something like, hey, they want somebody from outside the company. So that can help.
Okay. Also, I had a question. I know Adobe has, I believe it's called Adobe Captivate for creating videos. So in EdTech, they are asking for a lot of Adobe Activate equivalent experience. And so I was wondering which one would be better to train myself in.
You can just start with Google or platform that EdTech people use. I personally don't know, but it's all in Google search that you can look up for. Or like softwares equivalent to or similar to Adobe Captivate. Start with that. It's all out like you do different, like you do use different keywords to do the search. And that's how you can learn. And connect with me on LinkedIn. I know one guy who was actually working in training in Adobe. I don't know now him, but I've connected with him on LinkedIn. So I can share his profile with you. So he usually shares videos, training videos. And they are training in what? They're training in using how to use this tool, how to use that tool. That's what it is. And I can share with you on LinkedIn. You can follow and learn from what they are doing. Take an inspiration. That's how you could connect with other people. The same thing is there in Microsoft, there in Dell. And they are all program managers in training and learning and development. That's one place where EdTech people must look in. Learning and development is place. Even Fatma, you can also look in that. If you have the technical background or not, if you have teaching background or not. If you have the aptitude to learn and train people, learning and development is a very good place to be in. There is one direct question I have is it okay to name the title on resume or LinkedIn in experience as manager when actually the position offered and accepted is specialist? The reason is to appeal actual day-to-day work and managing things in process. One thing I would like to say, so the question that I had received is similar to if your role is actually managerial role, but the title is not that. How would you showcase that thing? So I would encourage you all that look up my LinkedIn profile, because there was a time I was technical marketing engineer, but I was also doing project management. I did not have the title, but I was doing that work. So what I did on LinkedIn, I had my title, I put / and I put the title, the actual work that I'm doing. So like technical marketing engineer / project manager. If you had been a data analyst and also a product manager, put that / product manager. If you had been a specialist and also done a managerial role, you can actually put just the managerial role. Work are all into responsibilities. How you quantify that. Now, one thing I would like to encourage is make sure your resume and LinkedIn are each other. Okay, resume needs to be concise, to the point, maybe 1 page because of 10 years of experience. If you are more than that, 1.5 or 2, but for 5 years of experience, at least have 1 page. However, in LinkedIn, you can enhance it more. Your title is important. Your title and whatever you are targeting for next job, whatever you're targeting in next job, put the title for that and try to see your transitional skill and make sure your profile showcase that, oh, this person is having experience in this and they are actually doing this kind of work and they are eligible for this role next to that. And there's another direct question I have is, so if somebody does a boot camp and then they are looking for jobs after that, how do you do that? So Fatma, you are also one of those who have done the boot camp. So it's important that you list your boot camp as part of your experience because you must have done the project as well. Because that will add as an experience, whether it was 3 months boot camp or a 6-month boot camp. I have done myself, but I had done 1 week or 1 day boot camp, but I still made sure that I list that as part of my experience because boot camp are not an easy cup of tea. And it's not for everyone. And you do projects on that. And if you are in software engineering, you must have a GitHub account, list all the projects, not 1, not 2, but all the projects. That's how it's important to showcase your skills, because that is important. Now, one thing is, if you are not getting job even after the boot camp, I would still keep saying, make your presence seen on LinkedIn. If you did a project, just write 5 lines on your project that this is what I worked on and just post it. You can make that as your LinkedIn featured profile. Or make sure your LinkedIn and resume are same. Make sure you have online presence. It's all about how you are showcasing your skill. And that's how you can stand out. This is the time where we have to look for out of the box thinking and look how can we stand out. Start commenting on other people's posts by encouraging them or congratulating them or sharing your opinion. But also make sure that your online LinkedIn presence is more of a neutral profile, not too much into politics or other responses or emotional responses, just because you don't know who you are going to work with next. And a lot of time, many people get rejected because there is no cultural fit. And I know it is frustrating to listen that thing or hear that word, but it is frustrating too. But it is reality. Like I myself had got rejected even after 12 rounds of interview that, oh, there is no cultural fit. I don't know what was the reason, but you have to be not too serious about work, but serious about work, but also be more friendly and less nervous. And that comes with confidence when you keep talking about yourself. Our brains are usually wired that, oh, don't talk about yourself. That's not we don't praise about yourself. That's not we do. But it is important. If you don't speak up for yourself, if you don't feel confident in your skills, nobody else will. And all you need is one job to get started. So even though you keep interviewing, keep applying, but make sure you are strategic in applying. Make sure you are applying with, if referral is not working for you, try to connect with people from that same company with similar title or senior title and ask, what can I do to stand out? Like I got interviewed and I did not get selected, or I did not get response, but I would like to. And this is a frustrating time when people talk about and sound like they are complaining. And how you can not sound like complaining is by asking other people, what did you do differently that helped you, and what can I do differently that can help me stand out? That's something you can acquire. And if you are in a technical field, you will get a job. I am telling you, people who are not like something like me, I'm not a software developer. Every time there is a job change, there is always anxiety that pops in that, oh, if I'm not an engineer, how will I get job? Because engineers, software developers can't get job right away. Look for a list of companies within the state you are in, within the city you are in. Apply on all of them. Look for referrals for them. Connect with people on LinkedIn. And just say that, hey, I happen to be interested in this. And you can also bring up that, oh, I downloaded the software and I saw this. Looks very interesting. So this is one step ahead that you are doing, that you are downloading the software you played around with, even though you're not doing much. All right. You're doing like half a day of work, or you are doing like 1 hour of work, and then you are sharing your experience that this is what I experienced. It's very interesting, and I would love to learn how the company works. And people look for these kind of people who are more curious. I hope that answered your question. I did get another private question is about, is this the best time to negotiate salary in today's market? It's always tempting to accept the offer. Yes, but it's always good to negotiate. What big can happen if you negotiate? They will say no. They will not say to no to your or like the offer letter. This is not the time that they will rescind the offer letter. Just don't be afraid of negotiating. All you are doing, and you have to say that you have to speak up for yourself. And you also need to make sure that you do your market research on what is the market rate going on for that kind of role in your city and in US. What is the average? Those kind of things are very helpful. I usually do the salary negotiation session too, and inshallah we have one next month. But definitely take leverage of those skills, negotiate salary. And how you can search about your worth is some websites like levels.fyi, Fishbowl, Teamblind. Obviously, Glassdoor and LinkedIn can also share something. These days, California and New York can share their, salary and compensation, but that's not the hard number written on stone. There is a range to that too. So don't think that, oh, this is the salary, I do not want to apply. Everything is negotiable in this world. Everything is negotiable. And when it comes to counter offer, do not give an exact figure. Always say that I would like to collaborate and see what the company can do. And if they insist on giving a number, always give a range. And whenever you give a range, the range should start from the average salary to the maximum number, can be of a difference of 20, 30K. But if you give the lowest number from your research, they are going to give you the lowest number. It's like a shop that you are going and bargaining for clothes. It's like same like that. So whatever number you would give, they would pick the lowest number. And if they can really not do, then you have to make sure that you not just start with number, but you always talk about your elevator pitch, which is like the 5 to 10 pointers where you quantify your success. Talk about how are you different from others and why are best for this kind of job. And then talk about, I'm looking to see if you can do something to negotiate this number that can work best for the company and for me, so both of us are happy. I hope I answered that question. So we have 2 minutes left, and I would like to leave you guys with few things that can help, and I hope you guys would like to do that. One thing is create your elevator pitch with 5 to 10 points. It doesn't have to be 10 points, because whenever you come to speak up, that those will be like just 5 points. So make sure you have 5 points to 10 points. Quantify it. When I say quantify it, it can be like I helped 10 customers. If you are a recruiter, you helped in hiring 10 to 15 clients. If you were part of this much savings you brought in, dollar amount of that. So try to work towards your elevator pitch. One thing. Connect with 5 people from your field who are either 3 years more experienced than you, or they are 5 to 10 years more experienced. Connect with them on LinkedIn and send a personalized invite that, hey, I am like Amna. Hey, I'm trying to transition from education to EdTech. I would love to connect and learn from your experiences. Or if you are a software engineer, that I have done boot camp and I have done this, I would love to connect and learn from your experiences. You have to connect with people to learn about them, then talk about yourself. And whenever somebody connects with you, because you have sent a personalized invite, you will get a message on your LinkedIn messages that this person connected with you, and your message would be there. So you can definitely send them a thank you note. Hey, thank you for connecting with me. And after that, you can just say, it would be great to connect with you for a 15-minute conversation. Would you be available anytime in next few weeks? Something like that. Give an open range so people can, if they are interested, they can respond and connect. Have a phone conversation. One-on-one conversation always helps in building authentic relationship. So that's the second thing. The third thing I want you to explore is explore the roadmap of the career you want to go in. You can do a Google search. You can also look up, for example, software engineering. If they look for senior software engineer, look for how they transition in their career. Look for multiple people in that similar role, how different people transition. Look for EdTech or learning and development. See how they transition. Look for recruiters. If you have a head of recruitment or head of, sourcer or people officer. People officer are also recruiter, talent acquisition. See how they transition and what all do they do. Try to make your roadmap. It can be a draft. Things can change with time in life, with your own personality and your priorities. But this is something a lot of time people forget to think about. 3 things. Elevator pitch, connect with 5 people, and create a roadmap. I hope this session was helpful. We are out of time, and connect with each other. I think I have saved everyone's LinkedIn profile, but click on LinkedIn profile all the time. Connect with everyone. Hey, I attended this session and you were also one of the attendees. Great. Maham, feel free to reach out. Great. I would have loved to learn more about you, Maham. But always connect. I hope I have opened your LinkedIn profile. But if we are not connected, please send me a personalized invite that you attended my session. I would love to learn from you how you like the session. And thank you all and have a good week ahead.